What a lovely day!
Hey guys, Mad Max Fury Road was just released. It's a huge hit. It's my favorite movie of the year so far. So I thought I'd put together a list of the top 7 things you didn't know about Fury Road. Number 1. Charlize Theron shaved her head for her role as Furiosa in the movie, so when it came time to filming A Million Ways to Die in the West, she actually had to wear a wig. And just a side note, I don't care how big of a Seth MacFarlane fan you are, that movie was awful.
Holy shit.
Number 2. With the last Mad Max film released 30 years before Fury Road, this film has been in development for years. Australian writer-director George Miller originally scheduled shooting to begin in 2001, but after 9/11, filming was put on hold. Then it was set to be shot in 2003 in Namibia, but once again, shooting had to be delayed due to security concerns after the beginning of the Iraq War caused trouble with shipping and security in Namibia. And this I thought was really interesting. Between 2003 and 2009, George Miller actually considered making Fury Road a 3D animated feature. Then, between 2009 and 2012, there were a ton of delays due to unusual weather in Australia. Finally, in 2012, filming moved back to Namibia and was finally underway. Number 3. Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy did not get along on set at all, and it eventually reached the point where Theron refused to speak to Tom Hardy on set. These were initially just rumors, but I've heard through a few mutual friends that it actually is true, and Charlize Theron cannot stand Tom Hardy. It's a shame because they're two of our best actors around. They had such great chemistry in Fury Road. I always think it's interesting, but I hate hearing stories like that on set. Number 4. Here's some incredible technical facts, guys. First of all, the film was shot in sequence, which is rarely done today. Movies tend to be shot on what makes most sense financially, rather than the sequence of the actual film and the story. Secondly, storyboards were made for this film before the script was even written. George Miller did this because he envisioned Fury Road as a continuous chase. He mostly focused on the details of the chase sequences and the action scenes with very little dialogue. What's even crazier is that 5 artists collaborated to create the 3,500 panel storyboard.
Holy shit.
Number 5. With director George Miller placing a huge emphasis on real practical effects, stunt work, makeup, and sets, over 80% of the effects in this movie are real. The little CGI that was mostly used to enhance the landscape of the desert in Namibia, to remove wires from stunt work, and for Charlize Theron's prosthetic left arm. Number 6. Back in 2003, Mel Gibson was set to reprise his role as Max, but when George Miller ran into location problems and Gibson shifted his interest to The Passion of the Christ, it never came to be. Years later, around 2009, Mel was rumored to have a cameo as a drifter in Fury Road, but Miller stated, by the time the planets finally all aligned, Mel had hit a lot of turbulence in his life, and it was also never meant to be a story about an older warrior. We were trying really hard to make this world authentic, and it didn't make sense to suddenly have Mel appear. It would be like seeing Sean Connery appear in a Daniel Craig Bond film. And before I get to the 7th and final fact about Fury Road that you didn't know, I thought I'd share a little cool story that I read. Following a South by Southwest Film Festival screening of some Fury Road footage in Austin, Texas, a man stood up and told George Miller, "I'm an independent filmmaker here in Austin. I was inspired by you. I grew up watching your movies. I guess my question is, how the hell did you make this? It's go for broke cinema. It feels real." That man in the audience was actually director Robert Rodriguez. Number 7. Last but not least, guys, additional Mad Max sequels are in fact already in the works for the franchise. George Miller and co-writer Brendan McCarthy wrote so much material for Fury Road that they have enough for 2 extra scripts. A future sequel centered around Theron's character Furiosa has been announced, called Mad Max Furiosa, and Tom Hardy has signed on to star in 4 more sequels in the franchise.
Holy shit.
Hope you guys enjoyed this. I thought this stuff was really interesting and I wanted to share it with you. I'd really appreciate it if you guys subscribe to my channel, click like down below, and I'll see you soon.